So we ran into a little problem with my SR20DET, and as you guys see in the previous video, we put in the new intake system. All the idle issue, everything went away, everything was really good, ran really good. So we put in the manual boost controller, and we noticed that the boost was spiking super crazy. Like, I had to set at 14, it'll spike all the way up to 18 to 19 and then drop all the way back to 14. So we found out that maybe we should eliminate some things. So we took off the manual boost controller and direct the vacuum into the OEM wastegate that came with the S15 T28 turbo. And we noticed that it was boosting like way below 4 pounds. And we know that the actuator don't go anything below 7 pounds on the stock boost. So the diaphragm of the actuator is completely toast. And we got this new upgrade that's going to be going onto the S15 T28 turbo. We're going to replace the original actuator that was completely toast with this new HKS Wastegate Actuator.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The HKS Wastegate Actuator replaces the stock actuator for better boost response. The old actuator's diaphragm usually wears out, causing inconsistent boosts and spikes. Replacing it with this new actuator will help alleviate this problem. The new HKS actuator also has a unique feature where you can adjust the length of the actuator rod to provide better boost control up to 1 bar of boost manually. It's always a good idea to upgrade the stock actuator if you want to boost anything beyond 14 psi. Here we have an S15 T28 turbo. I am running this onto my S13 SR20DET. And as you guys can see, the turbo is still in great condition, no shaft play or any kind of smoke. In order to take off this original actuator, there's going to be two 12mm bolts that's going to be holding the actuator onto the compressor side of the turbo. But before we do that, let's take a look behind the actuator. Here behind we have the actuator rod, and the rod is connected to the turbine flap. In order to get that off, this is a little C-clamp that holds the rod into the flap, and all you have to do is pop that off and it should come right off. Here's a little look on how the C-clamp looks like. You can get this at a hardware store if you lose it. The new HKS Wastegate Actuator is in, and we cannot wait to test it out. So before we do that, we got to test for any kind of boost leak, and we're gonna do a little boost leak test onto my SR20DET.
Yep, so we have two boost leak testers right here. We ordered this one, it has a gauge, so we're gonna use this one. I actually made this one a year ago, and it actually works too, but I wanna try the one with the gauge. It looks much cooler. Okay, so first things first, you set this down right here, and you gotta open your valve cover oil cap. Because whenever you're doing a boost leak test, you don't want any pressure to be in your valve cover, or you're gonna break some stuff in there. Alright, so we're gonna connect this to the turbo inlet, just like this. Alright. Ready. Got back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna let this charge for a little bit, just so it has some air in there before we charge the boost leak controller. That way there's no noise and we can hear it for any boost leak that we may have. Okay, so we're done charging up the compressor. We got a little one and it's perfect for this. And we're gonna get started here in a second.
And then there's some tricks to find the boost leak. You can either try to listen to it. There'll be some big enough where you can hear it hissing, or you can grab you a spray bottle and put some dish soap and water in there and spray around like your intercooler couplings and all the vacuum hoses, anything, and you'll be looking for like bubbles or anything.
There it goes, y'all.
5 PSI.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
Oh, it's still writing. That's what I still write it. What happened? Oh, that's on? Oh, it's probably just a legal.
Okay, so we found a little leak on the vacuum, and we're gonna use this clamp right here to clamp it down, and that should fix that problem for that little leak. Man, that was a pretty good process that we just did. I didn't know much about boost leak tests, so Alan walked all of us through it. And I'd like to thank you again, Alan, for helping me out on this car.
Anytime.
So we're gonna go ahead and go test drive it. Everything should look good. We're gonna see how much PSI. I'm aiming for 15 pounds, so it should be at 15 pounds. It should not have any more boost spike with the new HKS Wastegate Actuator. Ready for a test drive?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And the leak, the vacuum leak we found, it was connecting to the fuel pressure regulator. So I was wondering why my fuel was like all over the place too. So Alan gave me that clamp, we clamped it down, did all the boost leak check, and now it's running pretty good. Air fuel ratio is a little bit rich, so right about 11.2, and sometimes it drops down a little bit. So overall, I like it. I do need to do some spark plugs, need to gap it, because all my setup was for the T25 turbo, and ever since we did a T28 turbo, I didn't really do much of a, let's say, like an updated tune for it. But overall, it's good so far, and I love it. How does it feel, Alan?
Oh man, it feels awesome. Totally different from the T28. I mean the T25. I mean.
Yeah, and before all this, and before the actuator, it was just running pretty crappy, like really crappy. And man, right now you could, like, you guys hear that? Just like it spools quick, just like what the actuator is supposed to do. You know, give it a little bit quicker spool. Like right here, just 3,000 RPM to just to 4 right there. Like, man, it picks up pretty nice. So not as strong as Alan's car yet.
Oh no, my car is the weakest one.
Not as strong as his yet. You guys be prepared.